And now you can switch the angle if you want. This is live on Facebook.
Oh, it's live?
Yeah.
My hat? Oh, there.
All right. And we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Oh. You can go through, Marco. Like I said, guys. Live. Live, live. Live. You can go, Marco. That's what I was telling you. We're waiting on you, Don. What? This one you kind of have to hold it because we lost a little thing on it. You see this? Watch. It comes off.
Oh,
So you just kind of, yeah, and then just the mic pretty close enough to like,
to here?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
We good? Cool. What time is it? Sweet, we're early. That way we get more info from
Right
our
on
artist friend.
time. Hit a lot of traffic.
Yeah, it's crazy. Marco, you want to switch the camera? Cool.
So wait, where am I looking at that one?
Yeah, yeah. You can look at the monitor and you just kind of tell.
Okay.
Like,
It's right here. Sweet.
sweet. All right. Huh? Oh, it's like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
The moral support.
No, that's great. That's
He
you
drives
know.
me everywhere.
that's dope that you have a strong support. Cause I mean, many artists that we've had, yeah, like, you know, they say like sometimes their family isn't really for like what they're doing, but when you do have great people around, it's awesome. And just like the coffee shop has a lot of support from like artists, the community.
Well, you
and
put such great events together and bring really dope artists all together, and that's really, I think, important because there's not a lot of spaces that do that.
yeah. How are you in audio, Marco? Cool. And thank you guys. We were just chatting about the support, having a good support system. And I am Efrain, the Eskwilax, and you want to say your name?
Miranda Villanueva.
I was going to say Marlene. You see, I was way off.
see, that's a good thing you let me say it.
This is live, so
Wait, how do you say your name?
Efrain
Ephraim?
or F?
F.
F.
It's a very original name. I told you
Thank
that when
you.
I first met you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then or you can call me Eskwilax. That's pretty much either one. Sometimes, you know, people just call me Carlos for no reason. But yeah. What's it again?
Miranda.
I'll say Marlene. Damn it. Ooh. You know why? It's because earlier a customer, she came and asked about one of our paintings up here. And one of the artists' name is Marlene. So that's why I kept, like, it got stuck in my head.
And these are all different artists that you have on?
Yeah, yeah. Hokin, you might want to pan to show the audience some. A lot of these are artists that been on the show before. You know, like this one is River. This one's mine.
Nice.
And then like this one's Javi. He hasn't been on yet, but. And then that one's a local side painter, the guy that did the coffee mug. And Marlene is the one that did this one, which is
This one.
yeah, yeah. She when back then she was teaching in Boyle Heights, I believe. Now she's leading the. It's called Summer Night Lights, I think. It's like a summer program for kids.
Nice.
Yeah. What about yourself? What are you up to this summer?
Well.
Are you a student right now, or
No, I'm not. Just. So, me and my boyfriend, we have a 1977 GMC RV home, and we were hoping to travel around the country. But
did you guys recently bought that?
No, I moved for like a year. I moved for a year, and I recently came back. I was in San Francisco doing a mural. I did a 40-foot shipping crate, Diego Rivera style, all paintbrush of an orange orchard with like hummingbirds, monarchs. It took me like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I came here, and we hit a hump with money, the artist struggle. And a lot of people, when they ask us like about our RV and living in it, they are like, "Oh, that's so cool that you're living in your RV." And they think it's easy, but honestly, it's with anything you do, you have to put a lot of work into it, and you have to put your heart
Yeah.
into it, and just not give up. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean it's tough living in LA, in California in general, just because the whole like everything just going up, and it's just real estate people just going at it back and forth. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with like Boyle Heights and the whole,
Yeah.
gentrification. Yeah, and I see it. I see it on a daily day basis. But
Did you grow up here?
no, no, that's what I was hitting at. I mean, people come to the coffee shop and ask me all the time my opinion on it, but honestly, I don't live here. I spend a lot of time here, like 12 hours a day.
Damn.
So people like pretty much think I live here, and I don't mind. But when it comes to that, I always tell people, make sure you're talking to somebody that's like literally lives down the block. I'm like, if you want to do that, I can get you somebody, and you can get their direct,
Yeah.
opinion and words on what that is, because I can't give you an opinion of somewhere where I'm not staying at the moment. And even having the coffee shop, it's been a struggle because of the bridge. We used to have a bridge here, so it makes it a lot tougher, like people to commute this way. And there used to be like 20,000 cars going by every day, and now it's like, I don't know, like less than half of that. So yeah, pretty much if I was capable of living inside my coffee shop, I would do it, just because like I would go like open the whole day just so I can get that little extra
Yeah.
cash. But I'm also trying to involve myself in other projects. So if it does come to it, like like losing the coffee shop, which I don't want to, I have something like to keep working on
Yeah.
and not fall into like depression or anxiety of anything like that. Because I don't know, you saw the news today. I don't know what his situation was, but the dude,
Anthony
Anthony,
Bourdain.
yeah, he passed away, and unfortunately, it was to like suicide.
Even with Caden Spade.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It was like 2 in 1 week, which is like, it tripped me out seeing that, because Anthony Bourdain, like,
Yeah,
his story, he had a rough story. He was doing drugs. He was, while he was becoming the cook that he wanted to be. It was a hard start for him, and to see that is just so heartbreaking.
yeah.
I don't know. I really looked up to him. Like, I loved watching his show. I loved what he did with his life, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people looked up to how he lived, like traveling and eating. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly. That's one of the, because I mean, like me, yeah, I cook food and I try to make recipes. And yeah, one of his shows was the one I would watch and be like, yeah, I want to do that
Makes
someday.
you enjoy it
Yeah,
a little bit more. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then he goes to the parts that are like, not, because like, let's say, an example, Mexico, it has its tourist section, but then it has the actual side of it.
Yeah.
And that's where he would go and like try like the stuff.
Be with the locals.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's how you
yeah,
should
yeah.
do it either way, and not be scared. You just gotta go
Yeah.
for it.
But yeah, that's what I was just trying to throw that out there, because it is something that happened during today, and then like you said with what was her name?
Caden Spade.
Caden Spade, like in
Yeah.
the week, and all of that. If when it comes to art, I mean, like me myself, I haven't painted in a while, but I wrote about it, something
Yeah.
like quick, something that came to my mind. Just I'm like, maybe this can help somebody that's like in that situation.
It does. I feel like in our society, it makes it feel really awkward to talk about our emotions. Like, if you're feeling depressed or sad, like, I feel like it's not very out there to where you feel comfortable talking about it. And last week at the show, I talked to Amelia Cruz. Hi, if you're watching, or if you watch this. I love her art, because I was telling her when she was writing about it on her Instagram, it hit home. And I wish more people were like that and not bashful of saying how they feel, because they shouldn't feel like they're the only one. Other people feel like that. And it does help when people express it, especially through art, because then you see it like, wow, you can connect with it, and you feel it in your heart, like, wow, they really understand me. I'm not alone. So that's why I like stuff like that and expressing it through art.
I mean, how has your art affected like your like emotions, or how do your emotions affect your art? Like, what would you be your opinion on that? Like,
Well, for me,
like on yourself, like.
That is a good question. Well, I brought one of my self-portraits that I just recently did, and I was going through I was depressed. And honestly, through that time, the only thing I had was my paintings. I didn't have no family with me. I didn't have people that were my friends around me, and all I had was my paintbrush and my canvas, and that's how I expressed it. And even like the little symbols that I put in to express how I was feeling at that time, and it's very therapeutic for me. And I hope when people see it, they feel that pain that I was kind of going through. And yeah, like how, say, Frida would paint her like story on a canvas. She was a poet, but painted it on canvas. And that's how I feel where I'm going with my paintings right now. It's very, life is an emotional roller coaster, and to be able to paint it on a canvas has just been a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I asked, because one of the main reasons I started painting was when I was like a teenager. I used to do graffiti because I was just angry.
Yeah.
And I did have you're mentioning it. Not everybody would say it. I did have like suicidal thoughts, but to drown them out, it was like, I'm gonna go paint. I'm just gonna go paint because my situation is not really good right now. But instead of thinking of all that negativity, I'm like, I'm gonna go paint. This is what I'm gonna do. So when people say like, "Oh, art saved my life" or "rap saved my life," like I really mean it when I say it. So you're saying the artist on Saturday, she puts those words and she doesn't know who she's affecting.
She's expressing herself, and she's just, I love her so much. I love her art. Like, there's so many artists out there like that, and I just love seeing the movement where it's going, and seeing artists putting all their emotion out there. It's just, it really does help people. It even helps me seeing that, because I'm not, people, for me, I was depressed, and I went through, everybody goes through an emotional roller coaster, but just to express it and find somebody that understands it, something that you admire too, you're like, wow, like, thank you so much. That's all I can say. Is just like, I feel it in my heart, like, this is what art is, and I just appreciate seeing that shit. Like, I just love it.
And all right, what age did you start making art, or has it always been something that like runs through your blood? Do you have like any other artists in your family?
Yeah, I do. My little sister, she does art. I have a few cousins that do art. Either they sing, they paint. I even consider my older sister. She teaches in South Central. I was just helping her today.
Okay.
Move classrooms. She is beyond amazing helping those kids, and I feel like she's an artist in her own way. But I started, I want to say like towards the end of 5th grade middle school, because at that time I was going through a bunch of shit. So my mom had a kid that we didn't know about, and it made us go into the foster system. But luckily my grandparents adopted me, but through that whole time I had to go through therapy. I had to go to court that I didn't understand, and all I knew how to do was just doodle and draw my emotions and like write little notes to myself, making me feel okay. And it went to high school where I just kept doing it, didn't take it serious. But then after that, I tried college, didn't work out. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do me and do my art, and this is what makes me happy, so I'm just gonna do it. I don't need no college degree to tell me that I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where, I can relate to you, because, I just, like, I was going, I'm like, I don't want to do this, like, I can't, it was mostly me, it was like, I can't afford this, and, like, if I go this way, I'm just going to end up getting debt that I don't really need at the moment, but, I get you,
I'm not a school person.
We all have a different paths that we take.
Yeah.
We all, like, like the Facebook guy, he didn't even, I don't think he finished, right? He just like, I'm going to do Facebook.
Something like that, I don't know. But usually, like, I'm glad I took this route, because it makes you appreciate a little bit more your struggles. Because right now where I'm at, I'm kind of struggling, but I'm not scared. I'm not bashful to say it, because everybody goes through those moments, but that doesn't mean to give up, And I'm so blessed to have picked this path I had chosen, because I feel like I was meant to choose this path, and it just makes me work a little bit harder for what I want.
Isn't it weird that, when you're, like, following that and then you realize it, like, you're like, oh, I think this was meant to go this way, just because, like, it's, I don't know, it builds like, your character. It makes you, like...
Exactly.
So you've been doing this, yeah, since like you were middle school, and right now, like, what kind of are you doing more murals or more like canvas or both?
I'm doing both. Well, with murals right now, it's always hard. Um, how do I say it? It's always hard to find spots that are like. I guess the learning curve that I have right now is finding a shop that understands the value of a mural and how much money it takes to do one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're like, oh, well, can you volunteer your time and also buy your materials? It's like, well, you know, it's hard when you're struggling with your own life and money and stuff. Like, I can't afford materials half the time. And also, too, investing my time into a mural and they give me materials, like, that's a lot of work. Like the one I was doing in San Francisco for 2 months, I wasn't getting paid. I volunteered my time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I benefited from it. And I did meet a lot of good people that helped us out when we were, like, living in the RV. They bought groceries for us. They let us stay at their house, shower. And they understood the value of art. And they even bought some of my art. So that's the difference. That's what I'm learning right now is that if I'm going to invest my time doing art, I want the person that is, like, hiring me to do it really value the art that's being, and the time that's being put into it.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows that, and it's just a struggle that I have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I tried, mural just the way I did graffiti, and it wasn't the same. Like, there was more work into it.
You put your heart into it, you know?
Yeah,
and it's just like...
I didn't even finish my mural. I only did it like halfway, and then that's where I stopped. Because, like you said, I ran out of supplies.
It's it's cost a lot, like, and when people ask, like, oh, could you volunteer your time, and it's like I do sometimes, but then sometimes I have to really be like, okay, Miranda, like, is this something that you can invest into because you're really struggling right now, you know, with money and everything.
It's like you have to choose. Like,
yeah,
all right,
you have to sacrifice some things, and some things you have to say no. And I let the person know, like, thank you for the opportunity, but right now, like, I gotta make some money and, you know, to build up to it. But I mean, yeah, I'm learning that right now, and you know, right now I love painting canvases. I love doing also ink drawings mixed with acrylic and everything. Like, I've been really focusing on that kind of stuff. But overall, I feel like my paintbrush is my best friend.
Yeah.
I always turn to my paintbrush before a spray can.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you had a choice, spray can or a lot. Some people use like house paint. You use house paint?
Yeah. So
like rollers and like that's how they go.
Yeah.
So you're more a brush.
Brush.
Nice. What's the biggest one you've done? This one in San Francisco?
The one in San Francisco. I had kids help me, so I did it like a coloring book, so they helped me. But, you know, it's kids. They go outside the lines and everything, and you had to, like, fix it, which was fine. They had a blast doing it, and... I'm
pretty sure you inspired some of them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said, you never know who you're inspiring or who's watching your work.
And they're all elementary kids, so like, why are you painting this and why are you doing that? But at the end of it, they gave me like cards, and it was really hard to say goodbye to them, and they saw the process of it. And I think that's what really made me happy, them seeing all the work that went into this one piece, and it was a great experience.
Wow. I mean, what's your next one now? Where are you gonna...
So I talked to my old high school. I live in the South Bay, so like Carson High.
Okay, is that where you grew up mostly?
Yeah, I grew up in Carson.
South Bay, you said?
Yeah, like San Pedro, Wilmington.
Oh, okay,
South Bay,
yeah. I think you're our either second or third artist that we've had, because we try to go like all around LA and not just focus on like Boyle Heights or like Highland Park. But yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
We're getting like you guys all the way down there.
Yeah. So I talked to my old high school, and I told them I'll volunteer my time as long as they give the materials, and try to work with some high school kids and teach them how to paint with paintbrushes. So that's what I'm planning for August. And that's so far what I have for right now. But I'm also focusing on building up my work too.
Yeah, if you ever need a space to like, you want to like, charge people like, you know, $5, $10 to teach them how to paint, you can always hit us up about the coffee shop.
That'd be Nice.
And like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, because you're all the way out there, and I don't know how often you're out here.
I mean, I try to spread myself out because I like how you're saying, like, you don't want to just like focus on certain artists here and there. I feel like it's good to mix artists up because you never know, you become really good friends with them. You always come out, and that's what I'm learning, especially with the RV. I can't always take my RV everywhere. So the train, the bus, like, plan your day out. It is doable. And that's what I try to do my best is, like, if I can borrow my sister's car, then she lets me use it.
Yeah.
But I do my best to come out here. I'm starting to get back out, and it feels really great coming back out here. So
yeah,
really good
that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we're here whenever you guys have a chance.
Yeah, it's my first time here, and I'm digging it.
Yeah,
Very
you
colorful.
can feel the vibe. Like I said, there's been many artists that walk through here on a daily basis just to stop by, say hi.
Yeah.
And I was asking about the spray cans or brushes, because I do have spray cans. Somebody dropped off a bunch of them, and throughout these months, I've been giving them away. So if you're interested, we can give you a couple of them. You know,
Nice.
they're all new. I don't know how they got them, but we have them. But well, all right, let's go back to your art. So you told us that you grew up in the South Bay. You started when you were in middle school. And what about now? Where do you plan to take it? What do you see it like 10 years from now?
That was a hard question because I didn't even realize I was going to live in an RV right now. So I rebuilt my RV and like live in it for right now. And it's oh man, for 10 years.
I mean, because you're like you said, you're more dedicating to your art and your mural. I mean, who knows? 10 years from now, you could be one of the top 10 muralists of the world.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, like,
all the hard work you put into it. And I feel like that's what I'm learning is that I'm not afraid to say I failed because I've learned from that failure. And it just makes me a better person. And it's not technically failing. Like, you just fall and slip. Just get right back up and do what you have to do. And I feel like in 10 years, if I keep this mindset up and dedicate my time to it, I can be the artist I want to be. I just want to meet really cool people like you guys and, like, just do some really sick events with other artists and, like, do good for the community and really bring art and bring people together through that. So I just want to do stuff like that. I don't need to be rich. Like, I could just meet people and just paint all day if I really wanted to. So.
I mean, it could be rich in experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
And you ever see... This one movie got stuck in my head years ago. Have you ever seen it, Big Fish?
Big Fish. Who's in it?
I don't know the name. I'm not good with actors. I'm not naming names in general, but it's about this guy who goes back to his hometown, I believe, and his father is passed away. That's why he's going back. And he was talking to I think this woman. You know how a lot of movies, they're usually about like romance and stuff.
Yeah, romance movies.
And he's talking about, my dad used to lie to me when I was little. He used to tell me stories of how he met this one crazy guy and like how he became friends with him and how he met this fish and he became friends with this fish. So he's telling this person all these stories his dad used to tell him and how he never believed his dad and how his dad was sounding crazy most of the time because he's like talking about all these like characters that he met throughout his life. And when it came to the funeral, like those people that his dad was talking about came to the funeral, and he was like, "Oh shit!" Like my dad wasn't lying, and it was like all these interesting characters, and that's kind of like stuck in me. It's like more about experiences and the people that
it is.
It's like if you do get to make some money off whatever it is, like the next thing you're doing. It's awesome, but I've come to at peace with like the more people I meet, the more people I talk to, it's like it's great. I mean, not everybody's gonna be cool with me, and not everybody's gonna like me.
Fine with that.
Yeah, and I'll be good with it.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I feel like now in our generation is that technology is a killer for that. I feel like, because honestly, most of the people I see walking down the street are on their phone, and it just feels really good when you meet really good people that don't have to pull out their phone, and you could just have a great conversation with them. And I feel like that's what we miss out on a lot. And I feel like, even going to your event like last week. It was such a great event. It was a great fundraiser, and there was a lot of good people there. And you felt the love right when you walk in, and I feel like we need more stuff like that.
Well, we were doing it here in Boyle Heights, but then we got busted because, we were just...
Because it wasn't permitted?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, we had already been doing it for, like, a whole year almost. But then, like, some sour apple decided to, like, we don't like these people. Call the cops on them. But, I mean, I spoke with the officers. They were like, you know what? Somebody just called. We just have to show up. Like, we got to show some kind of response because apparently they had said, like, whoever called, it was like a protest. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, there was graffiti involved, like, down the street. So they just said it was us. But whatever. I mean, whatever. When people want to mess with you, they'll mess with you.
Yeah, they know ways to do it.
Yeah. It's like... when you need help, they won't help you, but they'll mess with you just for, like, the heck of it. Like,
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, so have you done anything outside of California? Like, art-wise, or? I
did a mural in Modesto, and I did that mural I was talking about in South San Francisco.
But, I mean, no, it's, like, outside of California.
No.
Like,
no.
Like Arizona.
Oh, like that? No,
Arizona.
I haven't. Not yet. That was the whole plan for this trip, but the thing that really sucked is before we left with the RV was that we got jacked or what. We saved up a bunch of money, like up to like
a good amount.
Not even a good amount in a jar, and it was gone, and we didn't know what happened to the jar, and we came to ultimately like, is money gonna be the real factor of this trip, or are we doing it for really what we want to do? So we're like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna go, we're gonna do it. And we lasted like a couple months in San Francisco, and then we came home. We're like, okay, we really need to make up a plan, and that's where we're at right now. And, I've been fine staying here because I do miss home. I do miss my friends, and I felt really good, like, coming to that show last week and being here today and hopefully doing more shit like this because it just feels like
there's
really
a couple
vibes.
of... like, there's a Northeast LA art walk. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Nella?
No.
That's actually tomorrow, I think. I believe so. Yeah, in Nella, they have their little art walk. It's a lot of the people that they're vendors from, like, the East LA art walk. So we all kind of know each other. So, like, we'll bump into each other every...
So, wait, where do you stay at?
Mid-City.
Mid-City, okay.
I stay... I that's where, where my home is. But, like, I'm really rarely there. I'm always, like, where I feel that, like, people kind of just need what we're doing, which is give people a platform here, have them come, just have a normal conversation, not so much on, like, what do you think about abstract art, or what do you think about performance art, we just trying to, it's more, like, human to human. I mean, we can get like that, so, what do you think about Picasso and his view on, like, this and that?
But that, I feel like
everybody
that's
does that.
We have different styles, and it's like, okay, I think that's why I didn't do good in school, because I like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I like learning about paintings, but it's like, oh, what do you feel this is? Or, like, what do you see in this painting? I'm like, it's cool and all, but when you have a genuine conversation about, like, how you paint and, like, how you got to that point, and then somebody understands, you're like, wow, this is really fucking cool. I can have a conversation about art, like, for the whole day and not even have to, like, look, like, care that, I'm here. Like, if I had something to do and I'm talking about art, I can honestly talk about art all day if I really want to, if I meet somebody to that point. I wouldn't even cut it off like, oh, this is a good conversation. Oh, I'm late, like an hour late. All right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, us, that does tend to happen at our, like, events, like our open mics. We'd have people, like, stay, like, 2 hours. They're just hanging out on the
sidewalk.
Yeah, they're just met each other here. And I'm like, just be careful, guys, because it gets, like, kind of dark out here.
Yeah.
But did you bring pieces for us today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, hold on, he's going to hand us a couple right now. Let me see. You want to hold them? All right.
Do I just go like these?
I can hold them and you can talk about them.
Okay.
He's going to zoom in on this one. Is that you in the
A lot of people
sketch?
think that. It's so funny. I don't know why.
Is it a sketch or you want to tell us?
So this is done. the moon and the clouds are with acrylic, and then her hair is ballpoint pen, and this is markers, and mostly all markers, and then some color pencils for the butterflies. A lot of people think it's me. I just don't know why I have a habit of like putting little things of me in it, but I don't know. I did this one when I was out in Northern California, and I feel like the butterfly, it represents new beginnings for me, and I just felt like, I don't know, I had a lot of emotion doing that one too, because I really missed home, even though I wanted to do this new beginning. Like, it was still, I don't know, it's just a crazy concept to me just thinking about it, because usually I just do it, but I know at this moment when I was doing it, I just felt really sad, and I wanted to go home. Yeah, I wanted to go home, and that's why I feel like I attract to more darker tones, because at the times when I do it, I'm usually either expressing how I feel at that moment, if I'm frustrated, or especially missing home. I missed home a lot. Like, I didn't have no family with me, and I was struggling with that hump because it was just me and my boyfriend living in an RV, you know, and he grew up in NorCal, and I didn't have anybody. So doing this, like, I feel like that's what it meant. Like, even though there's darkness, the butterflies always bring light, and it always brings a new beginning for me, and I just felt that at that time when I was doing this.
And I noticed her hair. She has like this headpiece.
The flowers.
The flowers
brings the beauty in her, because like I ain't gonna lie, sometimes we get in those moods where you just feel down about yourself and you don't feel like you can, I don't know how you say it, like I feel like sometimes you just doubt yourself, you doubt who you are, you doubt how you look, you doubt all these things when you're like in this mood. And I had to put beauty in her with the flowers, and the only color in it, which are the butterflies and the flowers. And it just brought out the beauty in her, I feel like, and it makes me feel like when I look at this is that don't ever doubt yourself, feel beautiful for who you are, and accept those new beginnings and accept the outcomes, because there's always going to be a day when the sun comes out again. So that's how I felt when I was doing this piece.
It's wonderful, and I like the
it's kind of like it's kind of ghetto-fied, but I got to trim it a little bit, but
yeah. Is this part of a bigger piece you have, or
no? I just put the blanket in there because I liked it, and it kind of fills it out rather than just being black. A little color to it, and the frame too. So, and it's the original. I make prints of this one, but this one's the original.
This one's the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. I like her eyes.
Thank you.
They're like really fierce. They're just like staring, like.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's just like just. I feel like she's just like, ready to face whatever comes next.
And that's how I felt with that. Like, I gotta face whatever's coming next, and I just gotta go for it. And that's why I usually, like, it's funny when it reflects me a little bit, because like usually when I take pictures, I don't like to smile, but it's only because it's like I feel like it's not fake. But, like, somebody's like, okay, take a picture, like, smile. And it's just, if I feel good, like, I like those candid moments where they take a picture of you and you're actually smiling. Like, okay, that's a real smile now. But that's what I usually do when I'm in a picture. I don't smile.
So there's a lot of you in it then.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you're putting it in there.
Yeah.
It's all good, though. We all got to put ourselves in, a piece of ourselves in our art.
Exactly.
And you got another one for us,
This
right?
one is actually the self-portrait of me.
Self-portrait? Oh, you got another butterfly?
Yeah, I put another butterfly.
And then there's a bleeding heart.
Mm-hmm. And
what
then
is this? Is that Long Beach?
No, it's actually Palos Verdes Peninsula. There's a lighthouse out there, and it reminded me of home because... Well, like, I grew up over there, so, like, what we would do is drive down the coast and just see the ocean and everything, and this brings me back to being home. That's why I painted it up here, because it was so far away from me. And I don't know if you guys are too familiar, like, driving up to San Francisco through the Grapevine. There's these hills.
Yeah, I was going to ask about those.
Yeah, through the hills on the Altamont Pass, and when the sun's going down, they turn really, like, this beautiful red from the sunset. But you know, that's where I was at. That was my temporary home, but I felt so torn being there because I didn't have no friends or family, like I was saying. And the heart reflects, even though through all this pain, my fire will still be ignited through all this pain and make me do what I want and believe in myself. Because, you know, at that time it was just really hard. I didn't see no light, but when I started painting this, I'm like, you know what, I can do this. Like, there's a possibility I can do this. And yeah, this is a piece of me. I love this piece so much because it's just crazy to see how much you progress as an artist. And this is like this piece for me, like seeing how much I've grown as a painter, and it just feels really awesome just seeing it complete finally. So.
And how long you been doing like canvas, like
canvas paintings? So before I did this whole move and everything, like a couple years ago, I was doing art shows, like curating it with my friend. I don't know why if you know why.
Yeah, I heard of why.
Yeah, I was working with her for a bit. We were doing art shows, but I was so focused doing on these events, I didn't really focus on the art. And I'm like, man, this isn't really me. Like, why am I putting art when I don't like it?
Yeah.
So I want to say when I started taking my art a little bit more serious is like 2 years ago.
So this is 2 years of like just painting canvas?
Well, I painted canvas, but I never took it serious. Like, you know, when you paint something, oh, I'll finish it later. Or like, oh, you know, I don't really like it. I'm going to scratch it out and start all over. Stuff like that. I didn't really take it that serious until I actually moved. And I was like, damn, you know, I understand why I love to paint now. It's because when I'm in a funk and I feel this certain way, like it feels so great seeing my emotions on a canvas and executing it in a way where it's just, you never thought it could be. Like when you look at it like, damn, I actually did that. It's because all the hard work you put into it and all the emotion you put into it, it pays off. And when you see it on canvas, like it felt really great, and especially for this piece. It took me a little over a year to finish this, but it feels good.
Yeah, I love it. I love her shirt, her blouse.
Thank you.
I love that. You know, where's the reference from?
I have kind of a shirt like that, but it had different colors, but I really like the red, so I just made it my own. After like these two, I just made it my own and made it flow to the other side. But I referenced one of my shirts that I have.
Awesome. Well, thank you for bringing it and sharing it with us. Because I know before we used to have a green screen, we were able to like just throw them without bringing them. But having them up front is good too. Because like, they're here physically. I like it. Unfortunately, we do have, like I said,
it's all good.
Like time flies where we're just having like, you know, like a quick conversation, learning about you. Do you have any shout outs or anybody that you want to say hi to on our little show?
I mean, I want to say hi to everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Like, whip out the list.
I do want to give a shout out to my boyfriend Terrence. He's not in here right now, but he takes me everywhere. Even last week, he drove me all the way to LA. He drove me over here today. Like, I don't know how I would do it without him. Like, he helps me with my prints, and he just is a big support. And shout out to my family, especially my older sister for letting me use her car. Thank you so much. And shout out to all the other artists that watch this. I do not want to like leave anybody's name out, but I love you guys. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Cool. Thank you for being here with us, Miranda.
Yes.
I remembered.
See, you did.
I remember. It's gonna stick now because like if I remember,
it takes a while. You gotta keep asking. Don't feel bashful asking, because like.
Oh no, I'll ask. Like, people are shy about that stuff. I'll ask.
Damn, I already asked their name. Like, I don't want to re-ask them because I feel like a dick now. But you shouldn't. You should just ask.
Hey.
Hey.
Cool. And so thank you again.
My hand's a little sweaty.
It's okay. Thank you for coming through. And if you're able to make it tomorrow to our little open mic, feel free to come through. Like the flyer said, nobody will turn away.
I posted
turned
it on
away.
My thing, yeah,
if you have no funds, whatever. It's more like, as we've always done, like just kind of open to the public. Whoever can contribute, that's cool. You can contribute, you know. $1.50. We don't mind. We do it more because, like I said, you always talk about, oh, somebody should do something about it, and it's us that should be something about it. Even the smallest thing, it doesn't matter. Even if it's like saying, hi to your neighbor, good morning. You don't know who you're gonna spark.
Or just show support. Like, I hate when people like say, like, not hate. It's more that, like, you're like, oh, I wish I could do something, but if you know of an event that's going on, like, repost it, do whatever you can on your end. If you can't make it, then freaking tell people, like, hey, I can't make it, but send my good vibes to them, like, if you're going. And, yeah, I mean, don't feel bad that you can't go certain places, but do your part, repost, support local artists, support local businesses, because we really do need that, and especially with all the stuff that's been going on.
That's true. So, yeah, and thank you again. And we're going to be back in a few minutes with our next guest on the Eskwilax Hour 161. Can you say the name?
Eskwilax? Is that
yeah,
how you say
yeah. We always mess with people, see if they can actually.
Even when I look on Instagram, I'm like, how do I don't want to mispronounce it, but it's all good.
It's okay, because I forget names. But, yeah, we'll be back, guys, in a few minutes or seconds. Or I don't know. Have them zoom in on him. What time is it? It's 5:03 or something. Cool. Good on the audio? Audio check. Yeah, this is live on Facebook, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he was telling that out there that he's going to capture everything raw, he said.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Me? Oh, well, she doesn't know yet. Oh, yeah, the mic? Right there.
Okay.
Cool. Hey, guys.
Like this?
Well, back the Eskwilax Hour episode 161. And we're here with, what was their comic? Los Lentes Mágicos. Oh, it's both English and Spanish. Mm-hmm. Cool. You want to tell the audience your name so they can...
Yes, so I'm Melina Chavarria, and I'm the author for The Magic Glasses, or Los Lentes Mágicos in Spanish.
Cool. Thank you, Melina. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Cool. I remember. I have this whole thing that like you'll tell me your name and like then like I say something really off, and it's not like a purpose thing. It's just like weird. It just happens all the time. I had some guy. He's all like, "My name's David." I'm like, "All right, Danny," and it was live. So, but enough of that. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
I believe we saw your profile online on the IG because you were part of the East LA. Where did you participate? That the
Yes.
East LA comic book. I forgot what the
Comics and Pop Expo.
and Pop
Pop
Expo.
Culture Expo,
I feel bad because they were actually on the show and I can't remember like the whole, what it stood for. I know it was
East
East
LA
LA
Cape.
Cape. Yeah,
Yes.
East LA Cape. And thank you again for being here with us.
Yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about your background and how'd you get into like comics?
Yeah.
Or just like graphic novels? I don't know what the
Yeah, these are comics. I mean, there's graphic novels, but these are definitely comics. I actually got into writing just recently. We just self-published these a year ago. Before I got into writing, I was manager in the retail industry for 15 years. But I always wanted to be a writer since college, and we actually raised our kids around comics all the time, going to different comic book stores for Free Comic Book Day and introducing them the characters and all that. And what I wanted to give it a try, and whenever I went to different events, even like San Diego Comic Con, I didn't really see a lot of like, she was just made a comment about like she felt like she was playing a video game and she lost. And later that day, she was asking me something about my glasses, that she really needed some, and it kind of just gave me this idea of like coming up with a story about a video game or like glasses that help people kind of like navigate the game of life, and helping like us make better decisions. So that's really how I came up with it, and just like thinking about my own journey as a young woman, growing up in high school and even in college, and all of the different things that you're faced with, decisions that you need to make. I felt like, I wanted to try to make it work out that way.
And regarding that, where did you grow up? In LA?
No, I'm actually originally from Las Vegas.
Oh.
Born and raised. I've
think
been
you're
in
our first
LA.
guest from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Well, native from over there.
Yeah, I'm native from there, but I've been out here now for like 11 or 12 years.
Okay.
So it's home now, and I live in like the Watts area. And that it's a community called Willowbrook.
Willowbrook.
So.
Hi, Willowbrook.
Hey. But yeah, so I feel like this is home now.
So this is your first comic book that you wrote?
Yes.
And is this going to be like a whole series?
It is. This is only issue 1 that we have out right now. And usually if you see me out at different art walks and events, we've been selling this particular issue, but we're getting issue 2 ready right now. And it's supposed to be ready at the end of this month. So we're working on a tight deadline with a lot going on. We have a Women in Comics convention coming up in New York that we're going to be at. So we want to try and have it ready for then. But if not, it's definitely going to be out this summer.
So
stay tuned.
your main goal is to put all of them out there. And since you mentioned there's not a lot of like Latina and women of color writing and illustrating like comic books, is it like, are you going to keep creating different series, or is it just going to be like one?
Well, this series, and having gone through this experience of creating the magic glasses, definitely has opened up just whole new worlds for me about like what's possible with, what you can do with your writing. I think, as a writer, you're creating worlds, with your stories that you're telling. So for me, this is just one project. I'm definitely working on other story ideas that I hope to either convert into graphic novels or children's books, or even a few of my friends, they want to like maybe get together and write some sitcoms.
Yes,
we just want to see more of our, of our community members like out there in the media.
And I noticed that the character looks like you. Was it?
Does she?
Drew it? Does she drew it?
Everyone says that, but she wasn't supposed to necessarily look exactly like me. But we did definitely want to have, with a darker skin tone, so you can be very clear that she's Latina, right? But also, she's curvy. We wanted her to be curvy to show real women and what they really look like. Our real bodies were well proportioned and we're curvy. We're not. A lot of times in comics, you see women drawn with like over exaggerated body parts, and we just wanted them to look very realistic.
I think it's also just from the who writes it or who draws the perspective of which is illustrated in. That's how it kind of comes out, and then most of the time is men writing.
Yeah,
and that's where you get all these, like you said, exaggerated.
Yeah. So we wanted to have a variety of different body types. So through the book, like there's different scenes, and you can see her lonjas in some, or she's just kind of laid back in some, because we want to really promote body positivity. Jean and I were all about women empowerment, obviously, and and having women feel comfortable in their own skin.
And that's Jean Munson.
Jean Munson. Munson. She's the artist.
Cool. And I noticed also like she has the like kind of like Adidas going on.
Yes.
There's a lot of a lot of stuff that women of color can relate to. I know because like my sisters, they wear those shoes.
Yeah. Well, if you open it up too, we made our character a gamer, and so in her first page, what they call the splash page, you can see right there, without us even telling you that she's a gamer, you can tell just by what she's wearing, what her room looks like. There's a lot of pop culture references on this page also. Her pajamas kind of look like Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah. And she has pizza and soda. And what age is she like in this comic?
In this comic, our main character is just like fresh out of high school. So about 18. Young adult.
It's like she's like making choices, like what to do.
Yeah,
next,
so
pretty much.
In this particular issue, she's fighting with her mom about what she's going to do now that she's out of high school. They're fighting about school and, should she go to college? Should she go get a job? And I think that's a reality that a lot of people...
Yeah, I was going to say, those are real life decisions.
They're real life decisions. And I think more and more, we question, should we go to college? I mean, we're spending tons of money and getting into student loan debt to get an education, and then coming out and not being able to support ourselves on those degrees, still having to work 2 or 3 jobs to put a roof over our heads. And so, we don't necessarily, especially in this generation, want to follow the same path as the people before us. We're trying to figure out a way. Are there different paths that we can take to become successful and to live the life that we want to.
Yeah, and I also put a notice that your references like modern day, like it says right here. I think she's like in Uber.
She is.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, there's a lot of I'm just browsing through it. The items that people can relate to as they go through it, and then
we really try to make it more of a modern story, right? So if you think about like in The Wizard of Oz, I kind of took a lot of inspiration from there for sure. Where Dorothy, I'm sure you watched The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So Dorothy meets all of these different people, her fairy godmother, and the lion, the Tin Man, and all of those people, and they all teach her something different about herself. And that's what's going to happen to our main character here. But we try to make it more modern, and we use things like social media, right? She's obsessed with social media. We have, her looking in her Snapchat or sending messages on Snapchat or Instagram and texting and, just worried about what her friends are doing and not really thinking about what's the right thing for herself and what she's going to do.
I mean, I love the comics like this. Where people of color, I forgot the artist's name. We also had Amon. I think it's El Muerto. I forgot.
Oh, you had Javier on. Okay.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember comic names. But it's great. I mean, and one of the earliest ones that I remember is La Cucaracha, the one on like Alalo, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And also our friend Junco. Those were like the first. Yeah, like you said, artists that are putting themselves out there. And now, we have you come on and share with us your work. And so when it comes to writing, how did you start? Like, when did you start writing? When did you, was it something like in high school, middle school?
Yeah, I think in high school, I was always encouraged, to keep writing. And then in college, when I started to actually see... Because growing up in Las Vegas, one we didn't have the access to Latino books or books by Latino authors in our schools, and then definitely not in our community libraries. So it wasn't until I got to college and took my first like Chicano literature class that I even knew there were authors that looked like me writing stories, and stories that I could relate to, and that really inspired me to pursue writing. I never wrote anything like official. Maybe I blogged about things or wrote poetry and things like that, which is still being a writer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
This is the first time though that I like self-published something. So, yeah.
And are you gonna branch into different types of writing?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that I do want to get into like graphic novels. I do have some of my poetry published in some of the local zines. There's a nonprofit organization that I participate in their programming. It's called DSTL Arts. And the organization really focuses on serving the areas like East Los Angeles or South Central LA. He does workshops out of the East Los Angeles Library, Baldwin Hills Library, Juniper Serra Library. And we meet once a week, and every quarter we put a different zine together. So I have some of my poems in his zines.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I've always thought about it. Like, how hard is it to like get something published? Like, in your opinion, is it like something that's just timely, or is it like more of a money thing? Or
I think it definitely can be both, and I think some of it can be fear to just like put your work out there and get rejected. I haven't yet tried to get published or picked up by like a big publishing company, but that's something definitely on my list. I want to at least try to put it out there and see what the process is like and what the challenges are, and just like go for it. We can't maybe for a long time there were a lot of doors closed for us, but things are shifting, and we got to take these opportunities even if you're the first one to try, so that creates opportunities for the people that come after you.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do here. We're just like, we're just gonna do it. Like, maybe it's not the best, but we haven't really seen anybody else doing it. So
yeah,
like, why
I mean
not?
that's how I started with the magic glasses, and we've had a really fun journey in the last year, and I'm excited for what the future holds. I definitely if things don't work out with publishing by a big publisher, then we'll continue to do independent publishing, because I really like being able to get out there at events and meet people too. That's the plus side of independent publishing.
Yeah, and when you what are like your usual? What do you usually post up? Like just comic book events or like conventions?
Not necessarily. Actually, we try to do more like a local, like smaller events. So we did the Latino Comics Expo last November, and that was really exciting because we got to meet a lot of great people. And ever since then, I've done a lot of art walks. I do the Wilmington Art Walk. They're a great community there. Sometimes I do book signings at stores. I was at the East Los Angeles Cape for Free Comic Book Day, which is usually like the weekend of Cinco de Mayo. It usually lands around the same time. But I did a few different events at different comic book stores and libraries. So, and Zine Fest. Coming up, we have the Women in Comics convention out of Brooklyn, New York. So that's coming up at the end of this month. And then we also are going to Tijuana Zine Fest in July, and then we've signed up for other zine fests for the rest of the year and other art walks too, to see where we get the best traction. I think sometimes with some of the bigger comic book conventions, they're not always as friendly to independent comic book artists.
It's like everything.
It's more about like the pop culture and mainstream media. So I like to go, but you also, when you talked about like, is it costly? Like it can be very costly, and so I try not to do too many of those. But I am hopeful. Like I'm gonna probably be participating in the Long Beach Comic Con later this year. Also, so they just contacted me.
Try to keep it more local.
Yeah.
And where can people reach you if like they wanna, like you said, because there are other like art walks, like the East LA one, Northeast LA. Like, where would they reach you? Like,
I'm actually going to East Los Angeles is doing an art fest in July and in August, but I'll be going to one of their August events as well. But yeah, they can reach me on my Instagram page, _magic_glasses, and my email address is on there. But my email address. You want me to go ahead and
Yeah,
and give
I
it?
mean, if you don't mind people reaching out to you.
No, I don't. No, I love it actually. So it's Melina Chavarria at hotmail.com. And if you go on
Okay.
and we do have a Facebook page also. I don't remember the web address, but if you search for the Magic Glasses, you'll be able to find it on Facebook as well.
The magic glasses.
Yeah.
And let's see, like, have you ever wrote like, because I don't know right now, like, you know how the whole gentrification in this area,
Mm-hmm.
I guess like more political subjects or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Honestly, in this first issue, you know, she's just really fighting with her mom about herself, right? Like, figure out who you are, figure out like school, figure out work, and all she's interested really is in partying and hanging out with her friends. But the journey that we're going to take her on, we want her to become more politically and socially conscious about what's happening in the community. So in this first issue, we're not going to see that. But as she goes through the different series, that's the journey I want to take her
part
on.
of it,
Yeah,
it's
because
part of
that's really the reality of for all of our young people right now. You know, they're grow up and maybe they're sheltered or oblivious to what's happening until things start to impact them. And you know, right now with a lot of the immigration reform we're seeing, right, it's directly impacting their families. They're scared. They're not sure what to do or how to get involved, how to make things better. And so that's, you know, definitely the journey I want to take her on, because we need to be able to support our youth and guide them and give them resources of what can they do? How can they contribute to what's happening in the world right now?
Yeah, and then just kind of letting them know to be aware there are people that they're like they have their own agendas, and just kind of like be open about a lot of the the issues like over here specifically in Boyle Heights is gentrification,
Mm-hmm.
but you have like two sides to it, and there's like people on each side with different agendas.
Right.
I speak from the point of view of having the coffee shop and having like both sides just come at me and like tell me this side and tell me that side,
Right.
and I'm just like, well, I'm just here, I don't live here, and like, you know, it's, you want an honest opinion, you have to ask somebody that lives in this area.
Yeah.
And this is like you said, like some of this is like from did you write from like personal experience, or?
I definitely incorporate some of my personal learnings, you know, like what I've learned through being a cabezona, like in high school. Rebellious, getting in trouble with my parents, you know, and what I've kind of like learned along the way, you know, that it definitely, you can't make it without the people around you supporting you in the community, you know, plays a big part in shaping who you are, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
As well. But something that you touched on, the gentrification, you know, it's something that's passionate for me as well. I shared with you the community I'm from in Willowbrook. It's right next to Watts, and we're going through a lot of redevelopment, and that's something that's always on top of our minds, and a concern is, you know, we don't want to be gentrified. You know, we want all of these great things that are coming into the community, but we want the existing community members to benefit from that. We want to uplift them from poverty, obviously, but we don't want somebody else coming in and taking over. And then the people that have lived there since, I mean, I've met a man the other day who's 60 years old who like grew up there, you know, then now all of a sudden to like think that one day somebody's going to like, you know, just take over, you know, when he's lived there and rolled up his sleeves to make the community what it is. We want to keep that intact. So it's definitely something top of mind when I write, whether it's this comic or in my other writing or in supporting writers and artists in the community. We think about those things. You know, we're talking about right now, you know, how do we create an arts culture in our community? We just got done with some meetings, and they're looking to redevelop the Magic Johnson Park.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a couple of, you know, different big art museums that are interested in coming into that existing park space. So we ask questions like, what space are you taking up? We want to make sure they're not like, you know, taking over people's homes. You know, we don't want anyone losing their homes. So those are definitely things that are important to me. And I try to exhibit that and as much as I can through my writing in different ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure eventually you're gonna like add that into one of your like comic books per se.
Yeah, if not if not this book,
Yeah.
because in this book,
it's
my
just more-
my goal and where I see, I'm actually working on the finale right now. I see her really getting involved more into figuring out what to do with the whole immigration reform thing. You know, she has a friend that's going to get into some trouble in the next issue. I don't want to give too much away. But she but she ends up kind of like learning that maybe her friend's at risk of getting deported because she's undocumented, and you know that raises a whole other level of concerns for her that she wasn't even aware of before, again because like in this first issue she's just so like ditzy and clueless, you know, but we're gonna make her grow up really fast because she's gonna have to, you know, play a part
face real life
and play a part in making things better.
Well, that's good because it's encouraging. It's like somebody like a young one can read it and be like, yo, I'm actually in this position. Because I've heard of that, you know, friends being separated, families being separated because of the whole immigration issue. And just, you know, our president, you know, is not really the best guy right now. So all of that, it's good to, like you said, what would her friend do? What would she do when it comes to her friend? And somebody that has your comic book, well, the next few issues of it will be able to be like, yo, I can relate to this, and maybe I can do this to help. If like I don't know, at some point there will be like resources or something. I don't know, that's part of it.
That definitely could be something I can incorporate to it later on.
And and that's just like I said, just my opinion when it comes to like when reading a comic book like this one. And I mean, I'm grateful that there are artists, writers like yourself. Putting in all the hard work. Like you said, it took a year, right? Just kind of like...
it took probably 6 months for me to write the first issue, and then a lot of networking and getting to know people and just trying to figure out what are the right events to go to. And then for my friend, it took her about a good like 6 months to a year to do the artwork, you know, because in addition to doing these, like probably many of your artists that come on here, we're... you know, have our other hustles to put a roof over our heads. So, and I'm a full-time mom also, so it's
that's a lot like of 10 jobs in one.
Different balls that I'm juggling.
No, but if you wouldn't have, you know, like done all that work and decided to go into this, you know, field, writing like a comic book, you know, this wouldn't exist.
Right.
And these messages wouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
Especially like I always mention to the artists, we don't know who our work impacts. It could be like, you know, somebody in LA, it could be somebody in like that picked up your work somewhere in New York. They can get inspired. They can like, you know, maybe one day they'll hit you up, be like, yo, I read your comic, it was great. You know, thank you for writing it.
Yes.
And from what you told me and from what just kind of I went through it really quick, you know, I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it was made. I'm glad it exists.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think the best feeling for us has been when we're out at events and like young girls, I mean, I'm talking about like 10-year-olds picking up the book, you know, and their eyes get big when they look at the girl and they're like, wow, she looks like me, because they're not seeing a lot of characters that look like them represented in the media. So we're probably not the first, and we probably won't be the last, you know, and we definitely hope we're not the last, because, you know, our youth, they need to see people that look like them, and they're seeing how they overcome failures and obstacles and seeing them succeed.
Well, our time is almost up. We have like a few minutes.
Okay.
Do you have somebody to say hi to, or this
Hi,
will go
Jean.
up? Will go up later on YouTube. So
cool. Well, I just always take a moment to appreciate my partner in crime, the artist of the magic glasses, Jean. She's doing right now leading a woman in leadership conference back home in Las Vegas on the UNLV campus, and she's just somebody who's been very supportive of my writing and encouraged me, but I think she supports a lot of the local artists in the community there. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with her and doing this work together. I also just want to thank Luis Bichardo, who's the founder of DSTL Arts, that I mentioned earlier, and just, you know, always pushing me to improve my writing, and, you know, has connected me with a lot of people that continue to encourage my writing and help me grow as a person.
Well, I want to say again, thank you for creating this.
Thank you.
And like I said, you don't know whose hands it'll end up in. Maybe, you know, some across the state, down the street. Yeah. But it's great that you made a comic book like this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you.
Okay.
And right, guys, we're gonna take a little bit of break, and we're gonna take Melina. I said it. I always Melina. We're gonna thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
And stop by anytime on our Instagram page. If you have any band, you can forward to us. We can share it for you, so
Okay,
that way
cool.
more people come by and know about your comic.
I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.